Good evening, students. This is KG Mishra. Again, I have come with a new topic, the chapter electricity, current electricity of class 12. Okay. In this topic, we are going. Today, we are going to discuss about the Kirchhoff's laws. Okay. It is very much essential, and people who go for BTech, no, they again study this, because when they are going for the circuit analysis, okay, because initially in class 10th you come to know what is electric circuit. In class 12th you come to know about some more components like capacitors, okay, inductors, okay, their behavior with AC current, okay, and all that. And when you go to the BTech, again you get a complex circuits. Now in those complex circuits you need to solve the problems, and for that you require different techniques. Out of one, the primary one is Kirchhoff's laws. Okay. Okay, so this is the Kirchhoff's laws. But before going to the Kirchhoff's laws, we will discuss this first, junction. Okay, so all of you start the setting junction. Okay, written heading, start writing. The point at which two or more conductors are joined together is called junction. Okay, like see, suppose a wire is coming from here, okay, another wire is coming from here, and this is going like this. So from here, suppose current is coming, suppose I1, and from here suppose I2 current is coming, and I3 current is going here. So this point is called junction, where these all the conductors are joined together. Clear? So where two or more conductors are joined together, that is called junction. Got it? So this is a junction. Not only this, if you are talking about we are talking about the word junction, no, you might have heard suppose we are talking about Mughal Sarai junction. Why it is called junction? Because see, where two or more routes, okay, railway routes obviously, join together or they are meeting, okay, meeting point of two or more routes is called junction. And that's why you find with name of some stations their junction is written. Okay, the same is the concept over here also. Here we are not talking about the train or railway track, we are talking about the current carrying conductors. Okay, so junction is the point of the joining, okay, where the two or more conductors are joining together. Clear? Now next is loop or mesh. Okay, okay. So loop or mesh, just start writing. Any closed circuit is called loop or mesh. Any closed circuit is called loop or mesh. See, suppose if you are having a simple circuit, okay, you've got resistance R over here, and you've got a cell over here, and then here you've got a key. Now see, this is not a mesh unless this is not closed. If it is open, key is open, suppose this is potential P, and okay, this resistance is R, and this key is open, so this is not a mesh. When it is closed, obviously the current will start flowing, and then it becomes mesh or network. Okay, not network, mesh or loop. Okay, this we call mesh or loop. It can be rectangular, it can be circular, it can be of any shape. Shape is not a matter. Matter is that it must be a closed path. Okay. Now next is branch. What is branch? So put that in branch. Let me explain you first, then you will write. Okay. Suppose a wire is coming. There is a point. Okay. A wire is coming from the mains and it is distributed in two parts. One is going to your room. This is main wire. Okay, coming from mains, and this wire is going to your room. Okay, and this wire is going to suppose some other room. Okay, suppose it is your study room. Okay, that's room for study room, and this is bedroom. Okay, now see, okay, this wire as it reaches to the bedroom, what happens? Again it
divided into two wires. Why? One is going for fan, okay, and another is going for light. Now see, there are two junctions you will find. There is one junction here. Let us write J1. There is another junction J2. Okay, so this, the separation, okay, the conductor between two junctions is called branch. Okay, the conductor between two junctions is called branch. Okay, so start writing out the branch. The conductor between two junctions is called branch. Okay. See, Kirchhoff has given two laws. Okay. One is, this is Kirchhoff's first law. Okay. Second is Kirchhoff's second law. Now, what is this first law? See, first law is also known as junction rule. Okay. Now, what it is all about? Okay. Let's see. See, when we are talking about the junction rule, then there must be a junction. Okay. Now what it says that no, if there is a junction, suppose here it's a junction, okay, suppose lots of wires are coming, okay, like this, then what this law states, it states that no, all the current, the algebraic sum of the current at a junction is always 0. Okay. Now what is algebraic sum? We all know very well. Algebraic sum means we have to sum the current using the sign, but we know that current is a scalar quantity. It cannot have a sign, because sign is assigned to the vector quantities, no? Then how we can have a sign over here? Yes, we can. We have sign. Okay. Let me tell you, the current which is approaching the junction, this is junction J. Okay. The current which is approaching the junction, that is taken as positive. Remember. Okay. Suppose this is I1, this is I2, this is I3. Okay. And the current which is leaving the junction, that is taken as negative. So this is suppose I4 and this is suppose I5. So these three are going to be positive, these two are going to be negative. So when you will add them, you will get like this: I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5 equal to 0. And in short you can write equal to 0. Okay. So before that, just write the heading. Let us write the statement. Ready? Okay. Start writing. It states that the algebraic sum of electric currents at a junction is always 0. Full stop. It means that the net current approaching the junction is equal to the net current leaving the junction. It means net current approaching the junction is equal to net current leaving the junction. Full stop. Now see how it has come. So now what you can do, you can draw this, okay, and you can write this. Don't write this last one, okay, because we are going to get out of this something, okay. See, we can keep here I1 plus I2 plus I3. We can take these two things that side. What will get? I4 plus I5. So what happens? This I4 and 5 is total net current moving out of the junction, away from the junction. Okay. And what is this? I1, I2, I3. This is sum is the total current approaching the junction. What you find? The total current approaching the junction equal to total current leaving the junction. Okay. Please do this much first. So all of you have done till this? Okay. Once you have done this, I will like to ask you something. See, what is current actually? What is electric current? It is the flow of charge per unit time. Okay. So if the current approaching the junction is equal to current leaving the junction, then can we say that the net charge approaching the junction is equal to net charge leaving the junction per unit time? Can we say that? Because per unit time means it's current only. Okay. Okay. So after this, what you do? You write. Written this much, no? Now you write. It is a form of law of conservation of charge. It is a form of law of conservation of charge. Full stop. Therefore, the net charge approaching the junction is equal to net charge leaving the junction per unit time. Okay, written. That means whatever charge is approaching the junction unit time, the same amount of charge is going to leave. Okay. So if the same amount of charge is going to leave, so is there any charge accumulated at the junction? No. So we can write again one small sentence. Okay, write down after full stop. It states that the charge accumulated at the junction is always zero. The charge accumulated at the junction is always zero. Okay, so you got four definitions. The charge accumulated at the junction is always zero. Okay, okay, clear. So we have got four definitions for this Kirchhoff's first law. Now you write sign convention. Put the subheading sign convention. Written? Start writing. The currents approaching the junction are taken as positive. The currents approaching the junction are taken as positive. Comma. Whereas currents leaving the junction are taken as negative. Whereas currents leaving the junction are taken as negative. Okay, clear? Okay. Now we have to go to the second rule, okay, or second law, Kirchhoff's second law. Okay. Now see, this is Kirchhoff's second law. Okay, it is also known as loop rule. That means we have to deal with the loop. And you know what is loop? It is the closed part of a circuit. Okay. Now a circuit can have many closed loops. That is possible. Okay. Or it can have a single closed loop. Okay. Now what does it states? Let us write the statement first, and then I will go to the explanation. Okay. I will explain for you. So first part, start writing the statement. Okay. It states that the algebraic sum of all the potential drop in a closed loop of a circuit is always equal to the net potential difference applied in the loop. Net potential difference applied in the loop. Now see, what does it means? Suppose you have got a loop over here. Okay, this is the resistance R. Suppose, okay, I'm just drawing. Here you have got an EMF source. Okay, potential difference source you have got. Suppose it has got potential difference V. Okay, here we have got the key, and this key is KV is closed, and suppose current I is flowing through this. This is a very simple loop. Okay. Now, what do you mean by potential drop? It means potential which has been utilized. Now, who is going to utilize or consume the potential? Obviously, this resistor. How much potential it is utilizing? Obviously, suppose it is utilizing I into R. This is the potential utilized. Is there any other device which is going to consume? No. Suppose if there are, this is R1, and here you have got, suppose, another resistance over here. That is R2. Okay. and suppose here you have got another resistance, that is R3. So through all the same current is flowing. So what is the potential drop across this? This is R1, okay. So then IR2. For third it is plus IR3. This is the total potential drop or total potential consumed. Okay. Now see how this is the total potential consumed. And what is this? This is the total potential difference supplied, and this is total potential difference consumed. So consumed must be equal to supplied. It's very simple. Whatever you are supplying, that can be used only, consumed only. Okay. You cannot consume more than that. Okay. So supplied equal to consumed. Okay, understood? Okay. So what we write actually, we write like this. If you take this that side, no, actually here we use EMF. Okay. EMF is what? It is the electromotive force. What is electromotive force? See, when you are taking a cell, okay, then cell has got chemical inside it, and due to that chemical reaction, it offers a potential difference. Okay, some potential difference. Suppose it is offering a potential difference of 10.2 volt. Okay. Now when you connect it in the circuit, does it offer same potential difference? No way. Why? Because even inside the cell there is a movement of the charges between the electrodes, positive and negative electrodes, and in that motion also some hurdles are there, okay, due to which it offers resistance, and that resistance is called internal resistance, and that internal resistance consumes some potential difference, and that's why it may happen that when you are connecting it to external circuit, you are getting its potential difference is how much? 10 volt, little bit less than that. So this potential difference which it originally produces, that is called EMF, and the potential difference which it can supply to the external circuit, that is called potential difference. Okay, clear? So this is the EMF, understood? And EMF we write by E. Okay. Now, if suppose many cells are connected, then what we can write? Summation E is equals to summation of IR. Okay. Even we can write summation E minus summation IR equal to 0. Okay. So you can note it down also. This also. Please note it down. Noted. Okay. See, actually from where it has come. Is it a new rule or it is a new form of a old rule? Actually, it is a new form of old rule. Which rule? I think you might be remembering, which you have studied in different classes, okay? I think in 8th and 9th and again 10th and 11th also. Law of conservation of energy. Okay, do you remember? Yes. So start writing. It is a form of law of conservation of energy. It is a form of law of conservation of energy. Full stop. The total energy supplied in a loop, the total energy supplied in a loop is always equal to total energy consumed, is always equal to total energy consumed in the circuit. Okay. Is always equals to total energy consumed in the circuit. Okay, full stop. Okay. See, when we are studying certain topic, no, then studying the topic and knowing about it, it's a different thing. But again, application part is a different thing. Okay. Many times people have bookish knowledge, but they cannot apply. They are not able to apply that. But applicability is very important. Here, this second law and second rule as well as first rule also, we must know how to apply this. So, application of first rule is very easy, but application of second rule, actually, for that we should know certain things. Okay, what is that? That is sign convention. Okay, so put the subheading sign convention. Written? Okay, write the first one. And now start writing. when the direction of current through a resistor is same as that of direction of motion, then direction of motion, then the potential difference across that resistor is taken as positive. Now we can make it symbolically, okay, like this. This is a resistor having a resistance R, and current is flowing I in this direction, okay, and you are also moving in this direction. This is direction of motion. Both are same, direction of motion and direction of current through the resistor. Then the potential difference will be how much? It will be plus IR. Okay, please note it down, because this is going to be very helpful for you. And just write the second point now of second point of sign convention. Okay, start writing. When the direction of current through a resistor and direction of motion are opposite to each other, comma, then the potential difference across the resistor is taken as negative. Full stop. Now just see. This is the resistor having resistance R. Current is flowing in this direction only, but you are moving in this direction. Direction of motion is this. You can see direction of both have got the direction opposite to each other. In this case, your potential drop will be how much? Negative. Okay, clear? I know you might be wondering what is the direction of motion. Don't worry. When we will take the first numerical, we will come to know. Okay, what is this direction of motion? Just have patience. Let us study. Let us understand. Let us learn step by step. Okay. Okay. Now, next go to the third point. Okay. Let's use the third point. Third one. Start writing. While moving, if we cross first negative terminal and then the positive terminal of a cell or a battery, then of a cell or battery, then its EMF is taken as positive. Full stop. Now see here. Suppose this is a cell, its EMF is E, and we are moving in this direction. This is direction of motion. So while moving, what we are doing? First crossing negative terminal, then we are crossing positive terminal. If this is the case, while moving, first we cross the negative terminal, then positive terminal. So in this case, what happens? Our EMF will be plus E. That is, EMF is taken positive. Okay. Now, fourth one. Third completed. Start writing fourth. While moving, if we cross first the positive terminal, and then the negative terminal of a cell or a battery, comma, then the EMF of that cell or battery is taken as negative. Then the EMF of that cell or battery is taken as negative. Okay. Now what does it mean? See, suppose this is the same is the case, has got EMF E, and but we are moving in this direction. This is direction of motion. You can see, first we are crossing positive terminal, then we are crossing negative terminal. In this case, the EMF will be taken as negative. Done? Okay. See, in order to understand the applicability of Kirchhoff's rules, okay, or laws, let us take a question. Okay, say this circuit. It has got two cells. This two batteries, I should say. One of EMF 12 volt and the of EMF 6 volt. It has got three resistors: 5 ohm, 2 ohm, and 3 ohm. Okay, and how many loops are there? One loop, two loop, and three. That whole as a one loop. Okay, so three loops are possible. Now, first we have to mark the current in this. So you know current starts from which terminal of a battery or a cell? From positive terminal. Okay. So which one is the positive? Larger one. Okay. This one is the positive terminal and this is the negative terminal. Okay. So current will start from here. Suppose the current started from here is I1. It is I1. Okay. Obviously some current will pass through there. So I am taking that I1. There is no way out because we don't know it. I1 will reach here, and the moment it reaches here, okay, after some time it will reach here. Now, there is another battery. Suppose current starts from here is I2. Okay, it will flow through this resistor and will reach here. Now, when both the current reaches here, then what is the total current at the junction? I1 plus I2. Now, according to the junction rule, what do you think? That current will stay over there? Not at all. So current leaving the junction is equal to current reaching over there. So suppose you write here I3, then I3 will be equal to how much? I3 is the current leaving. So I3 equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, according to junction rule. Clear? Let us, okay, if you want to take, then I can take over here, no problem. It is I3. Okay, and I3 is here. And then again, this I3 will get divided again because whatever current is leaving from the positive terminal, the same current enters in the negative terminal of that battery or cell. Here also I2 is leaving, so I2 will come from here and it will enter into the negative terminal of this battery. So now we have just marked the position of current, okay, direction of current in all the branches. Clear? Okay. Now what we have to do? We have to decide the direction of motion in this. Okay, we have to decide the direction of motion. Suppose you want to find out the current in this branch. You want to find out the value of I1 and I2. So for that, what is the way? How to find it? For that, we need to decide the direction of motion. Either clockwise in this loop or anti-clockwise, whichever you like. Because this deciding the direction of motion is not going to affect your answer. Okay. So which way you want to move in the park? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Yes? Oh, clockwise. Very nice. So you want to move in a clockwise way. This is the clockwise way. Okay. Let us mark this loop 1. Okay. In loop 1. Okay. While moving clockwise, let us first take the resistors. Here is the first resistance. This. Okay. When you are moving like this, see, you are going like this and then coming like this, no? So when you are going like this, you are moving upward direction first. And what about the current through this resistor? It is also going in the same direction. both you are moving like this and current is also going like this, so both has got same direction. As both has got same direction, so according to the sign convention you have written, the potential difference across this will be positive or negative? Positive, correct. So it will be, current is I1, resistance is 5 ohm, so 5I1, that is potential difference across this. Now just move ahead. Where you find the resistor? Here. When you come down like this, see, you are bending and coming down. The current I3 is also coming down. So both are again in the same direction. See, you are moving, bending and taking U-turn and coming down, and the current is also coming down through this resistor. So both are along the same direction. So potential difference across this will be how much? Positive, and it will be I3 into 2. So what we can write? 2I3. Okay. Is there any more resistor in this loop? Not at all. So potential drop is equals to net EMF supplied in that loop. Now what is the EMF supplied? It is this one. Only single cell is there in this, or battery is there in this loop. Now while crossing this, how you cross first? First you are crossing negative terminal and then you are crossing the positive terminal. So when you first cross the negative terminal and then positive terminal, so EMF is taken as positive or negative? Positive, correct. So here you can write 12. Okay. So this is your equation 1. Now, can you find out from here the value of I1, I3? No, because two unknowns, okay, and one equation only. So at least for two unknowns we require two equations, but in total there are three unknowns, okay. So we require three equations, okay. So now let us go to this second loop. In second loop again you have to decide the direction of motion. So which direction you want? Oh, this time anti-clockwise. So change of taste. Okay, no problem. We must change the taste, okay? Because same taste becomes boring, no? Monotonous. Okay. So this is loop 2. Okay. In loop 2, what you find in loop 2? Again, we have to see the resistors. Which resistance we should see first? Anyone? Suppose this one first. While moving like this we are coming across first. So our direction of motion is this. And what about direction of current through this? This I2, it is also going in upward direction. So both are along the same direction. When both are along the same direction, then the potential difference across this resistor will be positive or negative? Positive, very good. So potential drop will be how much? It is 3 and I2. So it will be positive, that is 3 I2. Okay. Now let's go to the second resistor, because here no resistance is there, here resistance is there, okay. So while coming like this and we are going down, and this current is also going down, see, okay. So we are going down and current is also coming down. So both are in the same direction, see, coming down, and current is also coming. So again the potential difference across this resistor will be positive. Now what is the magnitude? The resistance is 2 ohm, current is I3. So we can write plus 2I3. That's all. Is there any more resistor in this circuit? In this loop, not circuit. In this loop? No. So equal to net EMF we have to see. In this loop only one EMF is there. According to sign convention, let's see its sign. While moving like this, first we cross the negative terminal and then we cross the positive terminal. So when we are crossing the first negative terminal, see, we are moving like this. First we come to the negative terminal and then we cross the positive terminal. So according to sign convention, the EMF will be, yes, positive. Very good. And that is 6. Okay. So this is our second equation. We got two equations. Okay. Applying the loop rule. Okay. We have applied the loop rule. Here also we have applied loop rule. Okay, we have got these two equations. Done? Okay. See, for convenience I have removed this part, okay. I have written the equation 1 and equation 2 over here for record, okay. Now, but here are, see, I1, I3, I2, I3. So I1, I2, I3. Three unknowns are there. So we require three equations at least to solve them. Okay. So how to get the third equation? See, we will apply the junction rule. Okay, so applying junction rule. At junction F. At which junction? F. At FC, total current approaching is how much? I1 plus I2. And total current leaving the junction is how much? I3. So what will get? I3 is equals to I1 plus I2. This is our equation 3. Okay. So we got 3 equations and 3 unknowns are there. We can solve them out. Just note it down. Okay. I have written the third equation over here only. Okay. And I have removed the circuit diagram. Why? Because we don't need any more. Okay. We don't need the circuit diagram. We have to solve this equation. Okay. So first what we can do, putting the value of I3 from equation 3 in equation 1 and 2, we get. Okay, so let's see what we get. We are going to put the value of I3 in equation 1 and 2, equations 1 and 2. Okay, so when we are going to put this equation 1, what will we get? See, for equation 1 is 5I1, okay, plus 2 I3. What is the value of I3? I1 plus I2. So you can write I1 plus I2. Okay, and that is equal to how much? 12. This was our equation 1. At the place of I3, I have written I1 plus I2 from equation 3. Okay, now what you get? 5I1, 2 you multiply here, so what you will get? 2I1 plus 2I2, and that is equals to 12. Okay, so now 5I1 plus 2I1 is how much? 7I1 plus 2I2 is equals to 12. Let us mark this equation number 4. Okay, now this is in terms of I1 and I2. Very good. We have to put this in equation 2 also, the value of I3. So when we are putting in this, let's see what we get. 3I2 plus 2, okay, okay, yes, plus 2 I1 plus I2, okay, equal to 6. So from here what you can get? 3I2 plus 2I2, sorry, 3I2 plus 2I2, yes, it is 5I2, okay, plus 2I1 equal to how much? 6. This is our equation number 5. Okay. Now, in this way, we have got equation 4 and 5. You know, both are in I1 and I2. You can solve them very easily. Okay. And then you can find out the current. See, it can be solved from here also. But I just wanted to tell you the process, because here it can be solved, but you will get the places. Here again, see, this can be removed. You will get in terms of I1, I2, and you will use this equation, you can solve it. Okay, but some places you may not be able to solve it. For there you have to use this way. So we have got equation 4 and equation 6. That is 7I1 plus 2I2 is equal to 12. 5I2 plus 2I1 is equal to 6. Okay. Now suppose you want to use the elimination method. Okay. So for elimination, what we have to do? See, here I2 is how much? Sorry, if we, yes, so if we want to make this coefficient of I2 equal to 5, so that we can subtract them. Okay, so we have to multiply here what? 5 by 2. Okay, and we have to subtract anyone, either 4 from 6, 4 from 5 or 5 from 4. Okay, okay. So in order to solve this equation, we have to multiply equation 4 by 5, and we have to subtract it from it. We have to subtract, okay, equation 5 multiplied by 2. Okay, so see, we have multiplied by 4 this equation, fourth. So sorry, we have 5 by 5, 7 5 is 35 I1, okay, 5 2 is 10 I2, okay, equal to 12 5 is 60, okay, then minus sign as it is, then 2 we have to multiply, 5 2 is 10 I2 plus 2 2 is 4 I1 and 6 2 is 12, okay. Now we need to subtract it. Very easily we can do it. See, this will be negative I2. If we remove this bracket, what we will get? Minus. Here also what we will get? Minus sign. Okay, here also we will get minus sign. Okay. So minus 10 I2 here plus 10 I2 will get cancelled. 35 I1 plus 4 I1 minus 4 I1. So 35 minus 4 is how much? 31 I1 is equals to 60 minus 12, 48. Okay, so I1 is equals to how much? 48 by 31 ampere. Okay, so you got I1. Now in the same way we can get the I2 by placing this in any one of them, either this one or this one, okay, whichever you want. Suppose we are going to place it in equation number 5. Okay, 14. Equation 5 is what? It is 5 I2 plus 2 I1 equal to 6. Now we put here at the place of I1 48 by 31. Okay. So we will get 5 I2 plus 2 into 48 by 31 is equals to 6. Okay. You can solve it very easily. What we will get? Just see. Okay. See, so after this, we can solve for I2. See, 5 I2 as it is. This 48 into 2 is 96. Okay. So we have by 31 that we have taken that side. 6 minus 96 by 31. LCM we have taken 186 minus 96. We have got 90 by 31 into 5. This 5 has come here. Okay. So we can cancel it. We will get 18. So 18 by 31 ampere is I2. Okay. Now we want I3. So for I3, again let me rub this so that we can get I3. We know that I3 is equals to I1 plus I2. Okay. Now what was I1? Okay. So in this one, see, we have kept the values of I1, I2, we have added them and we got I3. Okay. So in this way we use. Now see, you might have understood what is the direction of motion we are talking about. Okay, because already we have taken the clockwise, anti-clockwise, whichever you want you can take. It's your choice. It's not going to affect the answer. Okay, so we got the answers. I1 is 48 by 31 31 ampere. I2 is 18 by 31 ampere, and I3 is 66 by 31 ampere. Okay, so in this way we can solve the numericals. Okay, I will come with some complex numericals in the next video. Till then, thank you and take care, but at the same time keep on studying. Okay, don't betray with your future, because see, we are all are known by our work, by our skills, by our profession. Okay, otherwise no one is going to ask you, okay, for anything. No one is going to remember for everything. It's your skill, your work which makes you famous in the people. Okay, all the best.